Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Exodus, and in this video I want to talk to you guys about how, in my opinion, Operation Metro 2014 is actually pretty fun. So obviously, Operation Metro 2014 is the remake of Operation Metro back in Battlefield 3, which appeared in the second Assault expansion pack, where there's 4 Battlefield 3 maps, were Battlefield 4 Eyes, yup, Battlefield 4 Eyes, officially a new word right there, given evolution, and had a lot of drastic changes done to them. Metro definitely has seen a lot of these changes. Personally, back in Battlefield 3, it was never my favourite map. It's sort of either you love Metro or you hate Metro. I just never really got into it, really. I mean, there's probably going to be some butthurt Metro fans in the comment section. Going to be like, oh my god, Exodus, what the fucking hell? You're a cunt and whatnot. But a really good way to describe Metro is like this. There's this guy at school who, he gets, he's popular with the girls, he's popular with everyone. But at the same time, there's also people who absolutely despise him and he acts like an absolute cunt to everybody, So it's either you're best friends with the guy, or you absolutely hate his fucking guts. Metro, it can play good and it can play bad at the same time. Conquest, it's always been bad on. Even back on the PS3, it was so bad, because there's a higher chance for the Russian team to win than the American. Purely because the Russians can get to the B flag quicker than the Americans can, and that's pretty OP in my opinion. No matter what the Americans do, if the Russians just spawn instantly, just leg it all the way to B, they can cap that flag no problem. And I've always thought it was just plain broken. I mean, I can never understand why they never moved the conquest zone over to the park area where the first base on Rush is, because that's actually really fun. It actually reminds me a lot of Lumpini Gardens in Dragon's Teeth. Just, first of all, you have the statues of the lions and stuff, and it just honestly plays a lot like it. You have all those different ranges. You have the long range, you have the medium range, you have the short range, the close quarter combat, and there's definitely a lot of ways to play it, and I think that would have been really cool. I mean, that was definitely a missed opportunity in my eyes. And Conquest, I do not recommend playing on this map at all. Just don't ever bother. No matter what the play count, just don't, really. Rush, I always liked the first and second base. I never was too keen on the third or the fourth base. It's just, the third and the fourth base just turn into massive clusterfucks and grenade spam, and it's not fun in my opinion, to be honest with you guys. Capture the flag though, I was expecting it to be really bad, sort of like how Conquest is. It's actually pretty good. I mean, I was expecting to be, as I said before, a clusterfuck, grenade spam, just generally really bad. But how it plays now, it reminds me of how Obliteration can sometimes play in lockers, how you can get into a stalemate situation, but you can be able to break out of the stalemate situations, and it can be so much fun at that time, because I think it's mainly down to the new routes that have been added in. They're pretty small, you got one route, or this sort of alley thing, I don't know, this avenue, I guess you can say, going from the ticket hall, pretty much from the ticket hall to the metro tunnel itself, or vice versa. Also, you have the sort of that connector, if you will, going from the ticket hall to the outside lane on the left if you're coming up the stairs, which is actually really awesome to use. I mean, I love getting my weapon, slap a suppressor, and you just go to town because nobody expects it. I mean, it definitely does widen out the fight a lot more, and it just makes it a lot of fun, really, because people don't expect you to come with that, because people have already memorized Metro. They don't expect people to come through there, and yeah, I mean, Team Deathmatch Domination, they're always good, I never played Metro, or generally ever, Squad Deathmatch, or Squad Rush. I just never liked this game mode. I can never get into them, personally. So I don't know how they play out on Metro. So, there's been a lot of changes, other changes done to Metro. For example, Levolution. You have you can take down support pillars in certain areas and it will make the ceiling collapse, which is pretty cool, actually. I can't deny it. That's a cool Levolution event right there. And you can trigger it whenever you want. It's easy to trigger it, and it definitely does take a little while for the actual ceiling to come down. It's pretty balanced. What would have been even more cooler, though, is to see sort of an EMP Levolution, or better yet, when a nuclear explosion goes off back in the Battlefield campaign, it could have maybe made it so that you can't use any electronic devices, stuff like weapon scopes, weapon sights, possible equipment. You can't use them, because they need electricity, whatever, and an EMP obviously shuts down all electronics, makes them go kaput. And that would have been a really cool thing, in my opinion. Hopefully that will appear in a future DLC. Actually, you know what? It's probably not going to appear in Final Stand. It's probably going to appear in another Battlefield game. At least I hope it will. There's no blue tint anymore, you know. I do miss the blue tint a lot. Yeah, never imagined me saying that. I miss the blue tint. It just, I don't know, it's missing that fun Metro feel. I mean, I don't necessarily like how it's all quite run down. I mean, I understand it's a nuclear explosion, but it just doesn't look right to me. It's just, yeah. I mean, also they could have possibly made it so that way the actual Metro, like the actual, you know, trains or whatever themselves could actually run, and that would have been pretty cool in my eyes. I would have definitely liked that. I miss the missile strike when on Rush back in Battlefield 3, whenever you complete the first set of MCOMs, and then bam, that massive missile, and it causes a massive explosion, and then it like creates that massive crater and explosion. It looks badass, you know. It's a shame that we can't have that again, but you know, I guess hopefully we might get that in a future Battlefield game as well. Overall, Metro definitely is an improvement. And don't get me wrong, grenade spam, clusterfucks and stuff, and like the Conquest Zone not being moved to the park area, those parts I was hoping, but I don't really think it was realistic for DICE LA to make such a massive, dramatic change for that. Because after all, it's just a DLC, you know. You don't really expect them to like completely push the entire map. That, and obviously Battlefield 3 Metro fans would be butthurt and disappointed and offended by that, and they'd be ultra pissed. And yeah. And so yeah, I should probably tell you guys a really funny story that happened to me actually. So I was texting a friend of mine. I'm not going to reveal his identity. He was in the Berlin series. He did appear in the very first episode just for a glimpse. You actually hear him speak. And then he is in the very last episode. So what happened is I was texting him in my bathroom, okay? I dropped my phone into the sink, and somehow my phone is just indestructible. I'm telling you, this thing's amazing. Sony Xperia T-Phone it just, no matter what you do to this thing, it is just indestructible, okay? And so what happened is that it bounced out of the sink, and it nearly fell into the toilet. It was like on the toilet bowl thing, not actually in the toilet water. And so, like, literally, the only thing that preventing it from falling in was my headphones dangling. I just managed to caught it, and it was just awesome. It was just epic, and yeah, so I thought I'd just share that funny story with you guys. So I'll see you guys in the future video. I'll see you guys in the past in the previous video. Until then, check this out.